Welcome, everyone. My name is Ian Lamb, and I'm the Sunflower District Executive. And welcome to our membership kickoff training. Tonight, we'll be covering the strategies and resources for your unit to have a successful recruitment to welcome new families this fall. At the end of this presentation, we will be having a Q&A session, and we will stick around until all your questions are addressed. We will also be having a special announcement at the end of this training, so stay tuned. This is tonight's agenda. We plan on covering everything within the hour. Most of the presentation time will be covering Cub Scout recruitment. And to discuss our Restart Scouting checklist, I'm going to introduce Ken Romer. He is our Council Commissioner, and let me get him unmuted, and we'll welcome him into the presentation.
Thank you, Ian. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight also. Appreciate everybody's time. For those of you that were in our program kickoff, this will be a bit of a repeat, but we felt like this is important to include. Certainly when you are able to download this, whether it be watching the recorded video or the PDF file that we'll post. It's very important that we get all the leadership and really for all the parents and scouts to understand how important it is to do things safe. And so we wanted to share this Restart Scouting checklist with everyone again. We'll just quickly go through this. It has an acronym here of SAFE. So supervision, we all need to understand what our local and state guidance are on preventing COVID-19 exposure. And so, we're a big council and cover a big geographic area. And so the rules might be a little bit different from one area to another. And so you need to familiarize yourself with those rules in your where your unit resides. You want to engage your chartered organization in any of this process as well, so they understand that you're going to be following this checklist and doing things safely. You also want to conduct a before you gather protocols. Go down through these checklists, particularly on the next page, and it will be very helpful in preparing for whatever events, including your upcoming recruitment activities. The next thing is do an assessment. Identify the participants who fall under the CDC's group of high-risk individuals, and notify all the participants about the risk of participating since COVID-19 exposure cannot be eliminated. So, and verify that the planned activity gathering or group size are not prohibited by local or state orders. So you need to pay attention to that size issue, okay? Let me make sure my sound is up. Okay, next thing is F for fitness and skill. So you want to take time before you start meeting again and review everyone's annual health and medical records, and consider using pre-event screening for all participants. And again, that'll the method is on the next page, in terms of how to do the screening. The next thing is your equipment environment. Make sure that you have available hand washing and hygiene stations, with cleaning supplies, and that everybody is using them properly. We want to monitor the social distancing and interactions and sharing of equipment and food among your participants, and monitor participants for changing health conditions. And you want to use the as you gather protocols. So anyway, this is, like I said, a repeat. If you want to go to the next slide, please. And so here's some things to consider before you gather. Your consult, with your chartered organization, certainly. We can consider this. You're consulting with your council now if you're doing this training, so that's great. Communicate to all the parents and youth that the BSA recommends that no one in the high risk category take part in person. So, you know, this is where you may need to do the hybrid thing, right? You know, we're going to follow protocols to meet in person, but in it, you know, we don't want to leave anyone out because it's important to be inclusive, and so you may need to do some things virtually as well. Communicate that everyone who feels sick must stay at home, you know, so the same kinds of rules that we have all been going through for work and upcoming school, same thing goes for this. If you're not feeling well, people need to know they just need to stay at home and get well. Educate and train all participants on appropriate social distancing. You know, this should be fairly commonplace, but it's still important to remind everybody, you know, do all the cleaning and disinfecting before and after, using the correct hygiene, all those kinds of things. And so before attending, you know, you want to basically, you know, the best thing is if you have a form and people go through this checklist and they sign it, and basically nothing should be labeled as yes, or you would have to ask them to go home and come back when they're better. So anyway, I won't go through any more detail on this. Everybody can read. Again, this is a repeat, but this is a very helpful checklist, and I would, you know, recommend everybody use it to the fullest. All right.
Thank you, Ken. All right, up next we have Scouting's secret sauce. These are steps that each of our successful units follow. And the first step is to keep it safe. You want to follow the guide to safe scouting, your youth protection guidelines, and your restart scouting checklist that Ken talked about. Number 2 is do the program. The scouting program works, so use it. Take advantage of council and district events, complete your position-specific training, and attend roundtables for help from experienced scouters. And lastly, number 3 is make it meaningful. You know, we are part of one of the world's best youth serving organizations. So remember to have fun and make awesome memories. And a special note during COVID-19, remember that every family has a different comfort level. So encourage all your families to keep scouting at the level they feel comfortable at. In our next slide, we're going to be talking about unit calendars. And I'm going to introduce our Assistant Scout Executive, Tracy Pearson, to discuss the importance of creating your unit calendar.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. The most important thing is to make sure that you're doing a great job of advertising and promoting what your PAC does. So you want to be prepared. The calendar is a great way for you to give a first impression to those new parents that are involved with your PAC or troop or crew. And you want to show them the fun and excitement that is scouting. So make sure that you promote your scouting unit better than having a great plan and making sure that the first encounter that new parents have with you is a lasting one.
Thanks, Tracy. Up next, we're going to be talking about Be a Scout and online registration. To talk about that, we're going to have our Pony Express District Executive, Aaron Russell.
Thanks, Ian. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about quite a bit in the next couple sessions is going to be beascout.org. It's something that goes through every level of scouting, and it's a way for a stranger to the organization or someone who's just curious about getting some information. It's a tool that they can use to reach out and get a hold of unit leaders or the council to find out more about scouting. So all a person has to do is go to beascout.org, type in their zip code, and all the units in their area is going to pop up. either a list or a map, depending on whatever they choose. And if that person, usually a parent, is interested in joining your unit, a notification will be pushed to you via email and let the unit leader know that, hey, there's a scout that's interested in joining your unit. And then you'll have information about who the family is, contact information, and it'll also be pushed to us here at council because we know, hey, we got some people interested in joining scouting. So it's a great thing to be aware of, and you'll have access through it through your My.Scouting or account if you are a unit leader. So it's a great tool to utilize just to get some information out there. And from that website, parents and scouts can actually fill out an application and be right along the way to joining your unit. So Ian, if we can go on to the next slide, we can jump into Scouts BSA. All right, so now we're going to be diving into really recruitment tactics for Scouts BSA. So the first thing that we put on here, because it really is the most crucial way to recruit for Scouts BSA, and this is really a year-round process for Scouts BSA, and that's having a really awesome affiliation with your local pack, your Cub Scout pack. There are a number of ways to make that relationship really awesome. That could be through den chiefs, doing joint service projects, helping them out with things like Blue and Gold, Pioneer Derby, anything to really make sure that that Cub Scout pack stays healthy and fun, so that when those Cubs eventually reach the Arrow of Light rank, they want to move up to the Scouts BSA program. The next point really is talking about fall and spring recruitment. Typically, we associate fall recruitment with Cub Scouts, but for Scouts BSA, it's year-round. So really, if you have a scout who's got a friend interested in joining, have them come to a meeting, have them go talk to your scoutmaster, SPL, anything like that. It's a year-round process. The next one is be a scout. That's really what I talked about in the previous couple slides ago about beascout.org. Scoutmasters, committee chairs, charter reps, they'll have access to this and see who's interested in joining scouting in your area. And really just send a quick email saying, hey, I'm the scouting leader. I saw you're interested. How about you come join us for our meeting? And that really goes a long way. One of the things we do find incredibly successful in Scouts BSA is peer-to-peer recruitment. When a scout has a friend that's interested in joining the unit, bring them to a meeting, bring them to an outing, pull them in, and have the scouts do the selling for you. Nothing works better than that, because it's really, they want to bring a friend and hang out with their friends, and that's what this is all about. Another one where we get most of our scouts is the Weeblo to Scout transition. As we know, when those Arrow of Lights are ready to move up, they cross over into the troop and they continue their scouting journey right along the way. And that is how we do get a majority of our scouts. So again, aiding that local Cub Scout pack and transitioning those Weeblos is incredibly important. And lastly is the roster checks. This is mostly done at the council or district level, really making sure that everybody that is coming to our event is a registered scout. And if they're not, we have them fill out an application and have them go on their way and have fun at the event. If you have any questions about scouting, recruitment, reach out to your commissioners, us at council, anything like that. We'd be happy to help you with the Scouts BSA recruitment.
Thank you, Aaron. Up next, we're going to have our Sahadi District Executive, Zach Mundy, briefly touch base on our venturing and exploring programs. Zach?
Thank you, Ian. Once we get to the slide. Okay, so venturing, for those who don't know, is for males and females between the ages of 14 and 20. It's typically associated with your high adventures. Right now, we have 5 venturing crews here in the Jayhawk Area Council. We have 75 at Trinity Baptist Church in Wamego, 117 at Auburn Christian Church in Auburn, Prince of Peace Lutheran, which is 249 in Topeka, 316 at Hayden Catholic High School in Topeka, and 513 at First United Methodist Church in Topeka. There's tons of recruiting resources online at the Brand Center. I went and scrolled through those earlier today to get a good view of what they were, and there's a lot of really good resources there for pretty much any area of scouting you're looking at, but definitely for venturing and exploring. We can go on to the exploring now. Exploring is for males and females between the ages of 10 and 20. From 10 to 14, they're in what is called an exploring club. And then from 14 to 20, that's when they go to the post. They have the exact same model. There's just a few different things between them. But besides that, they're basically the same. They're hands-on, interactive character and career activities that are facilitated by business leaders in the local area. Our current exploring posts are 7. There are 4 at the Topeka Zoo, 8 at the Aviation, 721 at the Topeka Police Department, and 911 at the University of Kansas Health System. Just like with venturing, there's tons of stuff on the BSA Brand Center. And Exploring actually has its own kind of website at exploring.org. There's a lot of good information on there for those of you who are interested in learning more about it, or for those exploring posts that are already active. Exploring.org has a numerous amount of resources on there that are accessible for you.
Thank you, Zach. We're going to jump right into our Cub Scout discussion. So there are 6 key steps to a successful Cub Scout recruitment. Number 1, create a calendar of fun activities. We already discussed that, but you definitely want a calendar to show your new families what your pack's all about, and that way they can get that on their calendar and join in all the fun from the get-go. So we highly recommend number 1 thing you do is to create that calendar. Number 2, promote your pack. Number 3, recruit more helpers and leaders. Number 4, school and community presence. Number 5, host your sign-up event. And number 6, welcome new families and have fun. Since we already talked about the first one, we're going to jump right into promote your pack. And Tracy Pearson will talk about this step. Are you there, Tracy?
All right, let me start all over. I apologize, Ian. Definitely, when you promote your pack, you want to know when and where they meet, providing information that's going to be pertinent to those parents. How much does it cost, if there are dues or any additional fees that your pack has associated with it, definitely making sure that parents are aware of that. And you want to let them know who your leaders are and how they can be contacted. So having information available to those parents so that they know how to get in touch with you. And again, tying back to the calendar, making sure that they know the fun activities that your pack does and that you keep the outing in scouting.
Thanks, Tracy. And in our next step, we're going to have Ken Romer discuss how to recruit more helpers and leaders to your pack.
All right, thank you, Ian. So, you know, it's so important for either a pack or a troop to seek out helpers and new leaders. And there is a definite process as to how this is done. But really, to getting volunteer leaders, the focus is on really having a successful volunteer unit and really to mobilize the collective power of the volunteer unit. You know, that's what scouting is all about. We're a volunteer organization, and so it takes some concerted effort to develop new leaders. Okay, next. So one of the things that that Scouts did here about a year ago was to create a new position called New Member Coordinator. And one of the reasons for this, they really went out and polled super successful units and to find out exactly what they were doing. And one of the common denominators for successful units is they had a go-to person that essentially was like, you know, the person that sort of held the hand of those new parents that were coming into the unit to show them all the things that would be important to know and to be available to them to answer questions. As we all know, you know, committee chairs don't always come to every meeting, you know, for you know, a unit meeting, and a Cub master or even a Scout master, their focus is on the program for the kids, as it should be. And so having a new member coordinator can be very helpful in keeping the parents tuned in to what's going on. So we have a list here. Basically, a new member coordinator should be a fun and engaging person for this position. They're there to form relationships with the new members and their family. You know, really get to know them, understand who they are, what their situation is. So they, like I say, being very tuned in to the dynamics of each family. They want to fit every type of unit, every age level, and every program. So this is one of the things that the new member coordinator needs to do. They need to be recruited and supported by key three unit leadership. So you know, the key three needs to themselves sort of mentor a person into this position, somebody that they think would be that would do a good job for the unit as a new member coordinator, and put them in this position. And it doesn't just have to be one person. It can be multiple people. It could be new member coordinators, because as we know, occasionally people have to miss a meeting and they need some backup. But it's so important to keep this relationship with the new parents, especially early on, until they become accustomed to what the unit is about. So we need to provide both training. There's online and face-to-face training for the new member coordinator, and the new member coordinator can collectively, you know, all the ones across, you know, and all the units across the district can be mentored by district membership chair, and really become part of the district membership team. And so that's something else as a district committee you should be promoting and nurturing, because it will pay huge benefits in your units and then really your future district committee. All right, next slide. So as I said before, you can use a team approach by encouraging more than one new member coordinator to a unit, really allowing them to tailor their work to the individual interests and expertise, as well as to recognize their particular needs of the unit. You know, everybody has their set of talents, right? And key three leadership in a unit needs to recognize those talents, put people into the right positions so that they can benefit the unit the most. A new member coordinator needs to be visible and easily identifiable at unit gatherings by their welcoming smiles and their VSA welcome logo. So I've put on trainings on new member coordinator, and VSA, as always, has all the materials needed so that you can either wear a badge or wear this on an activity shirt or hat or vest. You know, be visible and be available to those new parents so that they know just who to go to get help. So in this slide, we've got a little help sheet on the why, what, who, and how of a unit of a new member coordinator. And I'll let everyone review this, at their leisure. I just want to make sure everybody knew that there's plenty of information of how to get started with a new member coordinator. The other thing that's really important for Key 3 to be thinking about is a unit leader succession plan. And this should be an ongoing process of evaluating all the unit leader positions for those that need filling now and those that will need filled in the future. And again, it's an ongoing process of recruiting new leaders for these open and future positions, and to mentor new leaders to prepare them for the leader positions ahead, and then help them get their training, for position-specific training modules online and face-to-face. Go on to the next slide, please. So this pictograph really shows the process. Starting at the top, it's a matter of recruiting new leaders, and then once you've recruiting them, mentoring them into those positions, and then training them or helping them get the training that they need, empowering them to do the job, and then promoting them into the positions. And it's a never-ending process. And successful units are really good at this. They always have a succession plan, and they're always thinking about the future. And units that collapse all the positions in just to a handful, or even just the Key 3, are going to struggle in the future when those leaders step away. So it's a never-ending process. And again, your unit should have a culture of recruiting leaders and helpers in their unit to find the best fit to use everyone's talents. Next. And then finally, once you've recruited these leaders and moved them into their positions and done all the heavy lifting, then you want to make sure that you recognize them for a job well done, and really train them on the Scouting Knot program, so that all leaders that are in these positions know, one, that they exist, two, what the requirements are, and so that they know how they can get them. And just like Scouts, whether you've got a Cub Scout or a Scouts BSA, they are working towards advancement through the ranks. Scouts leaders can also work on their recognition awards. And most Scout leaders will not do this on their own. In fact, it is always best when the unit leaders and your unit committee can help with this process. Start the ball rolling, help with the process of keeping track of the leaders' accomplishments, and then making sure they follow through with the awards and recognition when they've completed them. And this will go a long ways to helping retain your unit leaders. And finally, it's always a good idea, when a leader does a good job, to send them a thank you note, or even a parent, if a parent helps out, not a leader yet. Send them a thank you note when they help the unit out in some way. There's no replacement for a handwritten note of thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Our next step is school and community presence. For in-school promotion, if you have full access to promoting your event at the schools, you can employ any of the following best practices. Distribute sign-up event flyers the week before your sign-up event. Traditionally, we hand out physical flyers to each student that is sent home. If this is not possible this year, we can send out virtual flyers to each of the students if the school allows. Posters and yard signs around the school. We have these available this year that your pack can utilize. School rallies or scout talks at the school. This may not be possible this year. However, we do have a virtual Cub Scout talk that we will show later in this presentation. Back to school open house events, school carnivals and conferences. Even if you can't man your booth, it might be possible that your school will allow you to set up a display that's unmanned, and you can have some information for your pack to promote your sign-up event. Pretty basic one, but wear uniform to school day. That's a great promotion. Videos on in-school video networks. We do have some resources that we can provide schools if they allow us to do that. Promoting your event via the school newsletter, website, and marquee signs are also a great way to promote your event inside the school. Out of school promotion. Here are some ideas to promote your event outside the schools. These tactics can be done either in tandem with your in-school promotions or on your own if you're not able to get full access to the schools. Here's a good one. Ask current members to use social media to let their friends and families know about the sign-up event. Personalized invitations, emails, phone calls to prospective parents. And then really importantly that I highlighted here is your recruit a friend and other peer-to-peer recruiting initiatives. This might be your best bet. And it's something you can start right away and get all your DINs and scouts involved in that effort. Flyers and school talks at any after-school programs or churches in your community. They might let your leaders come in and talk to those youth. Your church and community websites, calendars, and bulletins. Get in contact with your charting organization, and that's a great way for them to help you promote your pack. Press releases. If you have a local newspaper in your community, it's a great time to write a press release and talk about all the great things you're doing with your Cub Scout pack. You can get with your district executive and we can help you with those efforts. Billboards, posters, and yard signs. As I mentioned, we do have posters and yard signs that we can provide for your pack's promotion. And then lastly, community fairs, parades, and other events. Unfortunately, this year there might not be many of those, but that's something that your pack can plan for in the future. And this is our virtual Scout Talk.
My name is Carlos, and I'm a Cub Scout. I'm here to talk to you today about becoming a Scout like me. Who here knows what Cub Scouts do? Well, since this is a video, I'm just going to tell you what they do, and let's see if you're right. Cub Scouts get badges for doing fun activities and we make friends. Scouts go camping, climbing, and fishing, and swimming together. We have fun. We play sports and go to parades. Scouts also help people and become the best versions of themselves. Scouts can become future leaders. In fact, some Scouts have even made history. Did you know that some of our former presidents, astronauts, award-winning scientists, and actors were Scouts when they were your age? Here's an example of something Cub Scouts get to do each year. Wait for it. We use our skills to make rockets, and then we fly them. So, who wants to become a Scout? Okay, this is still a video, so I'm gonna need you to let me know a different way. If you want to join, visit bascout.org to find a pack near you, get any questions answered, and sign up for Cub Scouts online. Thanks for watching my video. I hope to see you again soon as a Cub Scout like me.
And this video is available now. You can search our YouTube channel. It's Jayhawk Council. And you can play this, share it with your friends. It's just a great way to promote Scouts and your pack. And nextly, we're talking about in-person recruitment. And I'm going to have Tracy jump on to talk about in-person recruitment, how that would look.
Awesome. Thank you, Ann. This model features 5 stations, and during this COVID time, it is important that we practice social distancing, and as was stated earlier, that we keep our individuals safe that are coming to our events. So the first station is the welcome and sign-in station. It's very important to get contact information from each family and tell them that the process will take about 30 minutes, which is plenty of time to work them through each of these stations. Station 2 is what we do, and that's where the calendar and the contact information of everyone that is involved with the PAC, the leadership, making sure that they have it handout with meeting times, locations, and a listing of those leaders, which makes it easy for them to know who to reach out to and when next meetings are. Station 3 is the registration form. Have the BSA youth application forms available. Those will be available online as well. And you will have an opportunity to have live copies in hand through the packets. But make sure there are pins available for that in-person recruitment, and have copies of what some of the other costs might be for the unit, and make sure you hand those out. And be prepared to answer any of the questions that the new parents may have. Station 4 is the checkout, making sure that the applications are properly completed, collecting the proper registration fees for BSA membership and Boys Life if they choose to take that publication. Forms and payments should be collected, signed by the appropriate leadership, and placed in an envelope to safely get to the Scout office. And Station 5 is Den Leader Q&A, and you need to make an effort to make sure the Den leaders and assistant Den leaders are on hand to talk about the various dens and give families a chance to get to know them and answer any questions about the type of activities their child will be doing at the various grade levels.
Thanks, Tracy. Virtual recruitment. Due to restrictions, some PACs might consider hosting a virtual recruitment. Some PACs are even doing it in person and virtual. So here are some tips. Select your platform. Zoom, Facebook Rooms, Google Meet are some options. Be sure you or the volunteer preparing the meeting is familiar with the platform before conducting your event. You want to make a great impression to all your new families. Secondly, you want to market your event. Use the same resources to market your virtual recruitments as you would if it was an in-person event. And keep it short. The presentation should be no longer than 30 minutes. And then utilize Be a Scout. Encourage them to register online through your Be a Scout pin. And then lastly, youth protection. This is a side note that all youth protection guidelines still apply, and that you do need 2 deep leadership to host any type of virtual recruitment. And this is a video that we have that you can utilize in your in-person or virtual recruitments.
Hello everyone, I'm Justin, and welcome to everything you want to know about Cub Scouts. Okay, maybe that title needs some work. But if you're watching this video, chances are you have some questions about Cub Scouts. Today we're going to talk all about Cub Scouts and answer some common questions parents like you have. Let's get started. Question 1. What is Cub Scouts? I'm glad you asked. Cub Scouts is filled with fun adventures and making friends. That is what your child sees in Cub Scouting. For you as a parent, Cub Scouting aims to build citizenship, character, personal fitness, and prepares them to be future leaders in our communities. The magic of Cub Scouting is that it is a game with a purpose. Cub Scouts and their families participate in fun activities that are designed to achieve these aims. What may seem like a simple activity may in fact be a method used for teaching your child about science or the environment. All of these things make Cub Scouting fun for the family while making awesome memories that will last a lifetime. Question 2. Who is Cub Scouts for? Cub Scouting is for boys and girls in kindergarten through 5th grade. You and your child will be welcomed into a small group of other families who have children in the same grade to form what we call a den. Your den will be the focus of activities, get-togethers, and celebrations. All the different grades in a community form what is called a pack. Question 3. What about meetings and activities? Depending on where you live, each den and pack schedule will be slightly different. Generally, dens tend to meet twice a month, where your scout will make new friends, play purposeful games, and learn new things. Then, all the dens in the pack come together usually once a month for larger pack activities and events. Cub Scouts participate in tons of different activities, including games, projects, skits, songs, outdoor activities, trips, and service projects. Besides being fun, these activities offer opportunities for growth, achievement, and family involvement. Question 4 is about adventures. Once you join Cub Scouting, your child will start on a journey of fun adventures. In fact, adventures is what we call the different activities your child will do. Adventures in Cub Scouting are grade-specific with content designed to be age-appropriate. Adventures range from cooking, science, and of course, the outdoors. Many Cub Scout families also enjoy camping, but don't worry, you don't have to be a survivalist. Remember those small groups of other family members from the same grade level called dens? Well, each grade level, den, is working towards earning a special patch. This patch is called a rank, and each grade level has a different rank they work towards. Kindergartners work towards earning the lion rank. First graders towards the tiger rank. Second graders work towards wolf. Third graders work toward bear. Fourth graders work towards webelos, and we know that's a funny word. Then lastly, fifth graders towards arrow of light. To earn their rank, your child will simply complete adventures with their den. And no worries if you miss a meeting, because as a parent, you can do most anything that may have been done in a den meeting at home. Our last question is about cost. How much does it cost to be a Cub Scout? Like most youth activities, there are initial startup costs you can expect. This includes a registration fee, one-time joining fee, pack dues, along with the Cub Scout uniform and your child's handbook. Now, we know you might have some more questions, so to discover more about Cub Scouting, go to scouting.org/programs/cub-scouts. There, you will learn more about the program and see the resources to get you started.
And as I previously mentioned, these videos can be found on our YouTube channel. If you just search Jayhawk Council, then you can search our videos and you can utilize those and share them. And then the last step is welcome new families and have fun. Don't forget to onboard your new families and make sure they feel welcomed. And PAC should consider doing multiple methods, as there is not one method that is considered the silver bullet way of recruiting, but just remember to have fun and enjoy your scouting journey. And then how do you access all these recruitment resources? For digital, you can access online at our recruitment hub. That's jayhawkcouncil.org/recruitment. We're adding more resources there every day. That way you can access them 24/7. And then the physical resources, such as your yard signs, flyer requests, posters, you can contact your district executive, and we have a packet of recruitment materials that we can give to each pack. We just need your recruitment date, time, and location, and we can get those to your pack. So up next, we have a special announcement, and I'm going to hand that over to Tracy, and she can let us know all about it.
Great. So new this year, thanks to some generous donors, we will be providing a rocket for each new Cub Scout that registers this year. And that's really to offset some of the costs of that joiner fee. There were also some other plans that we have in motion to offset that cost. But they will have an opportunity to launch their rocket at the Cub Scout Adventure Day on Saturday, September the 26th. The council will also be providing 2 free tickets to each youth that registers. So that's one for the adult as well as the scout. So stay tuned as we continue to gain additional information about some of those things that are going to offset the cost of the joiner fee.
Awesome. And we are here to help. So let us know your recruitment dates as soon as you schedule them. That way we can assist marketing your event. You can contact your district executive by phone or email, and we'll be happy to assist you. And it does look like we have time for questions, and we'll stick around as long as you need us. So feel free to raise your hand or type your question in the chat box, and we'll get to everybody. Yep, we can go back one slide. That way you have those contact information. Don't be shy if you have any specific questions about your pack or troop. We'll be happy to answer them. Mark asked if we can share the CBC background check forms. We definitely can. We'll get that posted on our website. Somebody asked, who do we contact for Buffalo District? That's a great question. You can contact Tracy until we get a new Buffalo District executive. Okay, it looks like Logan asked, does Buffalo District offer thermometers? The council is not providing any thermometers at this time that I know of. And once again, we'd like to thank everybody for attending this training. If you come up with any questions, please let us know. You can email us after this event and we'll be happy to answer them, or we can stick around for further questions. All right, everybody. Well, I don't see any more questions, so you have a great night, and we hope you have a great recruitment season, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.